Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening and a warm welcome to the 9 p.m. news bulletin of the most prestigious channel in Sri Lanka. Bringing you your top stories for tonight, I am Lakshita Dirisinghe.
And I'm Kasuni Balachandra Adhikari. We start off with a look at your headlines for tonight. The agreement signed on restructuring French Sri Lanka foreign debt. International confidence on Sri Lanka's economic revival, says IMF. Israel Prime Minister is on an attempt to assassinate Iranian spiritual leader. Minister of Foreign Affairs told the Parliament that Sri Lankan embassy in Tehran is evacuated. The Cabinet media spokesman says there are fuel stocks adequate for 2.5 months. A food safety index identical for Sri Lanka. A special fixed deposit scheme for senior citizens.
On to those and other stories in detail now. The signing of the bilateral agreement between Sri Lanka and France regarding the external debt restructuring process took place yesterday.
This will enable to further strengthen the long-standing bilateral relations between the two countries. Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, Mahinda Sirivardhana, signing the agreement on behalf of Sri Lanka, and Assistant Secretary for Multilateral Affairs, Trade and Development Policies at the Directorate General of the Treasury, William Roos, signed on behalf of France. The France has played a pivotal role in Sri Lanka's debt restructuring journey, co-chairing the official creditor committee alongside Japan and Sri Lanka. Its leadership and constructive engagement have been instrumental in helping Sri Lanka navigate the complexities of economic reform and recovery. This spirit of cooperation has enabled Sri Lanka to make meaningful progress toward restoring debt sustainability.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya held a high-level meeting with Dr. Geeta Gopinath, First Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, yesterday at Temple Trees. Dr. Gopinath paid her attention on the government's continued commitment to work closely with international partners. During the discussion, Dr. Gopinath commended the transparent and proactive approach of the government to debt restructuring, noting that the significant progress made so far has strengthened international confidence in Sri Lanka's economic revival. She further highlighted Sri Lanka's economic reform framework as a well-structured model that could guide other nations facing similar fiscal and structural challenges. Both parties held extensive discussions on attracting greater foreign investment, particularly in strategic sectors such as energy, where sustainable and large-scale development is crucial for long-term resilience. Prime Minister Amarasuriya stressed that enhancing governance, strengthening institutions and promoting transparency at all levels of government and public financial management remain top priorities for the administration.
Iran and Israel have been snipping at each other for the 5th day, with explosions reported in the Iranian capital, Tehran, and the Israeli city of Jerusalem. The Israeli military says Iran has fired a new series of missiles. Explosions are being reported from the cities of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. The Israeli military said Iran fired 30 missiles today. Warnings of Iranian airstrikes were also issued in some areas of northern and central Israel. Israeli authorities say Iran fired another 20 missiles. It is also reported that some of the missiles were intercepted. An Israeli strike has damaged Iran's state television center. The state-run IBRB television station was temporarily suspended for a few hours before being resumed. The disruption came shortly after the Israeli defense minister threatened to destroy Iranian media channels. A live program was being broadcast at that time. The studio was severely damaged in the attack, and Iran strongly condemned the attack on its television channel, calling it a war crime. The Iranian military says it is an inhuman, criminal and terrorist attack. The Israeli military says that Iranian military commander Ali Shadmani was killed in a strike on the Iranian capital Tehran last night. It is also reported that Ali Shadman has been the main commander of the headquarters that planned joint military operations between the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and the regular Iranian army. Meanwhile, the Israeli military has warned Iranians to leave the capital Tehran immediately. It is reported that US President Donald Trump has left the G7 summit before its conclusion amidst the growing risk of war in the Middle East. President Trump said that he was looking forward to a true end to the fighting rather than a ceasefire between the two nations. The Sri Lankan embassy in Israel is constantly monitoring the security of the Sri Lankan community in the country. All foreign employees working in Israel are updated on security measures and missile threats through a special application of the Ministry of Defence. The Sri Lankan embassy in the country states that the condition of the 4 Sri Lankans who were injured in the attack is now better and they will be able to return to work in the next few days. In addition, it is reported that 2 other Sri Lankans have been affected by an explosion at their residences and the companies they work for have taken steps to provide them with new accommodation facilities. It is reported that a house occupied by a staff member working at the Sri Lankan embassy has been damaged, but she is not injured. The Sri Lankan embassy in Israel is advising Sri Lankans to stock up on essential supplies of food for at least a week as food shortages may occur in some areas due to the ongoing transportation issue. Meanwhile, Minister Vijitha Herath explained in Parliament today the steps taken to provide relief to the Sri Lankan people in the relevant countries in the face of the crisis.
Now back in local news, Deputy Minister Sunil Watagala told the Parliament today that the allegations levelled by the opposition against the local government commissioner in electing the mayor of Colombo are totally baseless. Meanwhile, a heated condition occurred in the House regarding the allocation of time to discuss the Iran-Israel conflict. Thereafter, some opposition parliamentarians, including the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, left the House. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says that about 20,000 Sri Lankans work in Israel. The government should have a responsibility to express views on their well-being. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that Ministry of Foreign Affairs has already answered this question. It is the opposition's responsibility to stay in the House and listen to the answer. Parliamentarian Ajit P. Pereira said that Chief Government Whip, Leader of the House and the opposition leader as well has the right to speak. Parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake said that Iran has told today that the country will be closed. In such an instance, if there is a problem of the fuel crisis, the government should clarify this situation. Minister Kumara Jayakodi said that opposition always attempts to mix up renewable energy with electricity generated by fuel. It is totally false. The government never reduced renewable energy and does not generate energy by fuel. If there is no fuel, the country has to go for an alternative. Minister Bimal Ratnayake said that opposition has raised the question of Iran-Israel conflict today for the adjourning debate. This is merely an attempt to get media attention to cover the pain of their defeat. Minister Sunil Watagala said that some factions of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya have boycotted the House, opposing the Speaker. Following such an incident, they evaded the House yesterday as well. Sajith Premadasa and MP Mujibur Rahman accepted this regulation until they were defeated before the local government commissioner. Later they said that there is a problem in the secret ballot. This voting commenced even after the agreement with the opposition councillor. Thereafter they accused the commissioner. The opposition says one thing before the defeat and another thing after the defeat. The local government commissioner carried out her duty properly. The government assures that all public servants who work properly will be secured.
කියනවා එතුමිය කොන්ද කෙලින් තියාගෙන පනතනුම මේ වැඩේ කළා. අද මිත්‍යා මතයක් වපුරනවා. රාජ්‍ය සේවය වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. රාජ්‍ය සේවයට අපි තඩි පොල්ලකින් නෙරලා කියලා. නෑ. ඊයේ දවසේ මේ අභීත තීන්දුව ගතු පළාත් පාලන කොමසාරිස්වරිය ඇතුළු සියලු රාජ්‍ය තන්ත්‍රය අපි ආරක්ෂා කරනවායි කියන එක අපි මේ වෙලාවේ සාතිකය දෙනවා.
Deputy Minister Mahinda Jayasinghe said that the opposition was totally defeated at the Colombo Municipal Council yesterday. Thereafter, the NPP has been able to establish the power of many local government bodies, including Puttalam Municipal Council.
Deputy Minister Harshana Suryaperuma said that Sri Lankan government is continuing talks with the United States to come into a settlement regarding the tariff issue. He also commented on the ongoing process of renewing the European GSP Plus tax concession scheme. Deputy Minister made those comments while answering a question raised by Parliamentarian Ravi Karnanayaka.
That honourable member relating to the US tariff discussions. Many of the areas that have been discussed already, however, the question number one, the discussions are ongoing and yet to be finalized. Question number two, the same position applies relating to concrete steps. There are alternatives that have been identified, but finality has to be decided because discussions are ongoing. Question number three referred to an updated export strategy. We are looking at new markets, new products, obviously expansion, diversification, etc. So multiple factors have been considered, but finality, as I mentioned earlier, is yet to be identified. It is a mutual benefit arrangement. It's ongoing discussions with very positive engagement, honourable member, from both sides. Then question 4 relating to whether it is reciprocity or whether it is asymmetrical and unfair trade. As I said, our expectation from both parties is for mutual benefit. Therefore, we believe that we will be able to get a good outcome. But it is very important to mention this is not a matter targeting Sri Lanka. It depends on the overall global structure. So Sri Lanka may not be the targeted country in this scenario. Instead, we have a very good relationship, very good ongoing discussions based on the developments to date. And item number 5, in terms of trade disruptions, obviously trade disruptions sometimes bring about opportunities as well. During these negotiations and discussions, we have identified and explored opportunities that Sri Lanka can explore further. So it's a good outcome in some of the areas. Obviously, there are challenges also given the current economic calamity and the situation that the country is going through. But we are expecting a good outcome, as I mentioned earlier. Question number 6, has Sri Lanka explored other regional alliances? It is a continuous engagement. We will continuously we will be exploring those facilities and opportunities that are out there.
The second type of question comes in from the European Union GSP negotiations. I asked the question, what measures have been taken to ensure transparency and stakeholder engagement, especially with the trade unions, exporters and civil society during 2 rounds of GSP negotiations? What specific labour law reforms has the government agreed or being asked to undertake? 2, what is the government's official stance on Prevention of Terrorism Act PTA? Does it intend to repeal or substantially amend it to comply with international human rights standards? 3, what assessments have been conducted to determine how potential changes to GSP Plus will impact and small medium-sized exporters, especially in the apparel, fisheries and agri-based sectors? 4, the recently enacted Online Safety Act has sparked concern regarding its potential effect on freedom of expression, media independence and digital rights. Will the government consider reviewing or amending the Act to include safeguards? Has the stakeholder consultation taken place on this matter? In the event 5, in the event of that the GSP Plus benefits are suspended or negotiations collapse, what is the government's contingency plan to protect exporters, industries and employment?
Question number 2, mainly relating to European Union's GSP negotiations. I will provide a concise summarized form for those 5 questions that are there. It is, I know it's an ongoing basis. The partners have been here. We have engaged in the preliminary discussions with them. There is progress on those fronts. Our view is to engage multiple stakeholders, get their views and ideas also when responding to these engagements and the issues that have been identified. Focusing on improvements, particularly you have mentioned relating to the Online Safety Act, etc., on various other provisions that you have identified, the alternative approaches to provide solutions to the issues that we have, Honourable Member. And there are some changes, we are being rather perhaps expecting some changes in their regulation and approach of providing these as well. Some initial indications have been provided, so we are expecting more details to provide a more detailed and a more constructive type of a response to this matter.
Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that sufficient stocks of fuel for the next 2.5 months is available in the country. The minister informed the people not to stock fuel unnecessarily. He made this observation at the cabinet briefing held today. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that due to a news item that is being circulated in social media, people in certain areas have panicked and have started queuing for fuel. Fuel requirements for the next 2.5 months is available in the country, and 160,000 metric tons of crude oil has also been stocked, and another 90,000 metric tons of crude oil is also expected in another 2 weeks. The minister added that under long-term agreements, another 4 fuel shipments have also been ordered in the form of orders for 246,200 metric tons of octane 92, 5,000 metric tons of octane 95, 193,250 metric tons of Lanka Auto Diesel and 10,500 metric tons of Lanka Super Diesel is being received by now. He stressed that there is no necessity to panic and fuel should not be stored in houses unnecessarily. The minister mentioned that the Colombo Municipal Commissioner has legally and according to the Act conducted. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that the decision regarding the voting is decided will be taken by the present Provincial Commissioner. She has acted according to the Act and no illegality is present in this process. The Samagi Jana Balawege is against a secret ballot when they were defeated. They were all along of the intention of capturing power through a secret ballot. After the declaration of Provincial Council results, the shouting by the Sajid faction has by now faded out. The SJB councillors themselves are voting for others disregarding the names presented by the leader. Although NPP did not receive 50% of votes in certain local government institutions, it contested as a single unit, which describes that all are together in the party. The NPP alone established power in 151 local government institutions and has also established power in 21 out of 27. The minister stressed that the members will have to keep in mind the development of villages when they start their functioning. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa emphasized that the government has taken steps to see to it that there will be no shortage of pharmaceuticals from next year. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that the pharmaceuticals of this year means the tenders issued for the medicines last year. The statements regarding the shortage of 150 pharmaceuticals has been due to the non-availability of buffer stocks in the pharmaceutical stores. This has to be done not through tenders but through a government-to-government procedure. The minister pointed out that when action is being taken to rectify this situation, the leader of the opposition is talking about creating difficulties for local pharmaceutical manufacturers. He also said that if government-to-government procedure is continued, the government will be able to maintain a 6-month buffer stock. The minister also said that it is expected by November and December the flow of pharmaceuticals will become normal since the orders will start arriving in.
Following the local government polls held recently, the National People's Power has secured the power of many local government institutions. Accordingly, the National People's Power that initially established the power of 151 institutions has now increased to 174. Sudarshana Chamraveerakone of the National People's Power was elected as the chairman of the Vaunia South Pradesh Sabha. 2 names from the NPP and 1 independent group were proposed for the post of chairman. After an open voting, Chamraveerakone was elected with majority. Sarat Madhu of Samagi Jana Balawege was elected as the vice chairman. A secret voting was held at the Valikanda Pradesh Sabha in Polonnaruwa to elect the chairman. Accordingly, D.W. Vasant of the NPP became the chairman by having 10 votes out of the 17 councillor posts. M.L. Vimalaratna of the NPP was elected as the vice chairman. Accordingly, NPP secured the power of the Valikanda Pradesh Sabha. Rinzad Ahmed of National People's Power was elected unanimously as the mayor of the Putla Municipal Council yesterday. M.N.M. Nuzgi of Samagijana Balavege is the deputy mayor. The National People's Power also won the control of the Dahiyo Vidya Pradesh Sabha. Sumathi Veera Singh of the NPP and Dumindu Chaminda of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramana contested for the chairman post. Both candidates received 17 votes each by a secret voting. Later, Sumathi Veera Singh of the NPP became the chairman through a draw. Nandana Samaraveera of the same party was elected as the vice chairman. Haputale Pradesh Sabha was also established today. At the secret vote held, Sudarshan Liyanage of the NPP became the chairman. Gopal Murugan was elected as the deputy chairman. New chairman of the Hatton Kotagala Pradesh Sabha is former chairman of the Ceylon Workers Congress, Rajamani Prasant. He was elected by an open voting. Jesudasan Yahulamari of the NPP was elected as the deputy chairman. Mohammed Mahdi of Samagijana Balavege was elected as the mayor of the Kinya Urban Council. The government has paid its attention to create a food safety index within the next 3 months suitable to this country. A workshop in this regard was held in Colombo today. This workshop has been organised under the title Identifying a Suitable Food Safety Index for Sri Lanka and Compiling a Strategic Plan. It was organised by the Food Safety Intellectual Committee in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organisation and the World Food Programme. The basic components of food safety availability, approach, usage and stability were taken into consideration.
With that, we now take a look at a few recent cabinet decisions. The Cabinet approved the proposal forwarded by President Anura Kumar Dissanayake to implement the special fixed deposit scheme for the senior citizens. Accordingly, this scheme will be implemented for the fixed deposits opened within this year by Sri Lankan citizens of the age of 60 years or more than that. The duration will be 12 months. The maximum value of the deposit has been mentioned as 1 million rupees. A program has been implemented to provide a cost of living allowance for children who are under institutional safety or custody and street children. A national operational committee is also to be appointed in order to maintain it sustainably and fruitfully. The Cabinet approved the proposal forwarded by the Minister of Women's and Child Affairs Saroja Paulraj. Accordingly, a cost of living allowance of 5,000 rupees will be granted. Out of it, 3,000 rupees will be for the education, healthcare and welfare expenses, while the remaining 2,000 rupees will be for the future welfare of the child. The deposits will be with the National Savings Bank. The Cabinet has approved the formation of 2 draft bills in order to finite the Parliament Pension Act, which will enable to abolish the special privileges provided to former presidents and their families and the pension of parliamentarians. The proposal was presented by the Minister of Justice and National Integration, Attorney-at-Law Harshana Nanayakara. Cabinet spokesman Jayatissa said that a pension was granted for parliamentarians who completed a 5-year term. Those legal grants were given not only to parliamentarians, but it has been wrongly interpreted in order to gain benefits for their families as well. The minister added that the misuse of this privilege and further amendments were also conducted during the past. Since Cabinet has approved to formulate the concerned amendment bill and to abolish the pension provided to parliamentarians and their families. Sri Lanka Civil Aviation Services Authority has been entrusted with the holding of investigations regarding flight accidents within the air limits of this country. An Accident Investigation Bureau is to be established as an independent body in order to investigate those incidents. The Cabinet approved the proposal by the Minister of Highways, Ports and Civil Aviation, Bimal Ratnayaka, to formulate concerned draft bills in this respect. A ministerial committee report which reviewed the State Commerce Business Management Draft Bill has been presented. The Cabinet also approved a proposal by President Anura Kumar Dissanayake to provide instructions to the legal draftsman in order to compile the concerned draft bill based on the recommendations in it. And with that, we will move into a short break. Stay tuned with us for more news from home after this break.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Welcome back, and in more local stories, the Supreme Court decided that a breach of fundamental human rights has been done by rejecting to issue a national identity card under the Bhikshuni Foundation to a Bhikshuni named Valimala Dhammadinna of Arangiri Nabula Sangha Sabha.
The Supreme Court ordered the Commissioner General of Registration of Persons to take steps to issue a national identity card under the Bhikshuni Foundation to the above-mentioned Bhikshuni after taking up fundamental rights petition filed by the Mahanayaka of that Sangha Sabha, Venerable Inamaluwe Sumangala Thera. The female domestic servant of the resident of former Minister of Kelia Rambukwella, former Minister Kelia Rambukwella, who was imprisoned, has been freed on bail according to an order by Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali. She has been released under two bail of 1 million rupees each. She was taken into custody when Kelia Rambukwella was the Minister of Mass Media, Health and Environment. It relates to an incident where an investigation was conducted regarding receiving an amount of more than 8 million rupees as salaries and allowances by including 15 persons to his personal staff nominally. Her foreign travel was banned, and it was also ordered to deposit her passport with the court. The Bribery Commission informed the Colombo Magistrates Court that investigations regarding parliamentarian Chamara Sampath Dasanayaka have not been completed when the case was taken up today in the presence of Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali. He is facing allegations of causing a loss of more than 17.6 million rupees to the government when he was the Chief Minister of Uva Province. Intermittent rains will occur in western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and Nuwara, Kandy, Galle and Matara districts, according to the Meteorology Department.
Rains or thunder showers are expected at several places in Uva Province and Ampara and Batiklu districts during night. Strong winds of the speed of about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour might occur in the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central, southern and northwestern provinces and in the Trincomalee district. Stage 1 landslide warnings issued to several divisional secretariat divisions in Colombo, Kalutara, Kandy, Galle, Nuwara and Ratnapura districts will further stay according to the National Building Research Organisation.
A water purification project constructed at Endarugalayaya in Buttala at a cost of 4 million stood with the public today. This project became a reality as a result of a news item telecast by the national television. This project was constructed under the funds donated by a philanthropist and will supply water facilities for many crops including paddy, sugarcane and tobacco in the area. Our correspondent says that earlier this project had been abandoned since its water source was a tube well with low quality of water. With the construction of this modern project, about 5,000 people belonging to 800 families in the area receive clean, purified water. This new water project was handed over to the Kukurampala community-based organization today. The villagers expressed their gratitude to the unique media contribution of the national television and all others who rendered their service to make it a reality.
The Sumathi awarding ceremony 2025 is scheduled to be held in a grand manner on the 15th of July. The nominations for awards were declared today in Colombo. This awarding ceremony, which was initiated in 1995, is being held this year for the 30th occasion at the Monarch Imperial. The teledramas and programs presented by TV channels from the 1st of January to 31st of December 2024 are evaluated here. Nominated names under 25 categories were declared and nearly 60 awards are to be presented. It is significant that several programs telecast on national television titled Really and Flat Novana Flat teledramas are amongst the nominated lists of 20 names. And taking a look at your sports news tonight, the first test match between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh commenced at the Galle International Cricket Stadium today.
It will also be the final appearance in a test match for veteran Sri Lankan cricketer Angelo Matthews. At the end of day's play today, Bangladesh were 292 for the loss of 3 wickets in their first innings. After winning the toss, Bangladesh decided to bat first. Two players, Lahir Udara and Lahir Udara and Tarindu Ratnaik received their test caps for Sri Lanka today. Angelo Matthews was felicitated before the commencement of the match, who is playing in his final test match for Sri Lanka. Shadman Islam and Enamul Haq opened the innings for Bangladesh. The first wicket fell when Enamul Haq was out without scoring. Shadman Islam was the second batsman to repart for 14 runs as the second wicket of the bowling of Tarindu Ratnaik, who captured his maiden test wicket. Mominul Haq scored 29 runs. The first three wickets of the Bangladeshi innings collapsed for 45 runs. Later on, captain Najmul Hossain Shanto and Mushfiqur Rahim together has built up an unbeaten partnership of 247 runs for the fifth wicket. Shanto today scored his 6th century of his test career, whereas Mushfiqur Rahim scored his 12th century today. At the end of today's play, Shanto was not out on 136 runs, while Mushfiqur Rahim was unbeaten on 105.
And in more sports news, the 2025 Formula One season witnessed a dramatic turn at the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal, where George Russell became Formula's fourth different winner this year. Antonelli made history with a remarkable innings, becoming the third youngest podium finisher in Formula One.
For him today is George Russell. Yeah, and listen to that roar.
He's a lovely kid, isn't he?
He certainly is.
Way by, we go to turn one. No, he's ripped off the front wing. The McLarens collide. Lando Norris.
So with that slipstream, and he's actually hitting with any other.
Whole of 2024. It's another win for Happy George. Spraying the champagne, it's all smiles in the sunshine.
And with that, we wind up tonight's English news on Rupavahini. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Kasani signing off together with Lakshita. Good night.
Good night.